took that personally and made a game in Notion. How? Well, there's this thing in Notion called formulas, and they're surprisingly powerful, especially after the Formula 2.0 update. I remember back when formulas were trash, basic. Now, they're cool enough to even have variable. Enough talk, let's get started. First, I had to decide on what game to make, and I think a maze game seemed perfect. But I want to spice it up with a unique feature. More on that later. A maze game needs a map, which is just a 2D grid. So I started by converting a 2D array into a map. This took a lot of trial and error because, as always, I jumped in without a plan. Once the map was ready, I moved on to movement. Oh, if you're worried it's just boring squares, don't be. Thanks to Notion custom icons, I could replace the squares with whatever I want. After that, I added wall collisions and grid boundary, and everything was going so smoothly. Very odd. To make things more interesting, I decided to add a box pushing mechanic. I know, revolutionary. Well, this is also where the nightmare began. I couldn't figure out how to make it work even after countless attempts. I was so demotivated that I felt like scrapping the idea and settled for a regular maze. So I gave up and took a break. However, when I came back from the break, I had the most groundbreaking idea ever. Plan ahead. For the first time in this project, I used Notion for what it is meant for, a note-taking app. I wrote down every step, creating a proper plan, and wow! Being organized is actually useful. Who knew? The planning took just 20 minutes but resulted in a much better approach. However, it also meant throwing away 2 hours of work. No use crying over spilled milk. Time to carry out the new plan. I focused on getting the code to work before worrying about the display. At this point, you think I would just finish the game, right? Nope. I took a 5-day break for the sake of procrastination. Finally, I got back to it and added the display. Watching everything come together was so satisfying. Before building the actual level, I decided to integrate custom emojis for the visuals. And as someone who sucks at pixel art, I struggled with the hands and legs, so I just took them away. But then, disaster struck. The custom emojis weren't showing properly in Notion when it is processed by formulas. And the worst thing is that it is not even my fault nor Notion. It is because custom emojis are relatively new, so there are bound to be limitations. After debugging and trying different options for a long time, I was ready to give up and just use regular emojis. Disheartened, I went to eat dinner. While eating, my brain refused to give up. I kept trying to think of ways to bypass the issue. After dinner, I gave it one last shot. Instead of overthinking, I started experimenting. I discovered that the main issue was with dot format and dot replace, which messed up the custom emojis. But there are formulas like dot join which doesn't. Thus, all I need to do is to modify my code to use dot join instead. I was so happy that I finally found the light at the end of the tunnel. I just sat there, staring at my screen, in silence. With the problem solved, I finished the art, created a level, and the game was finally done, which you can duplicate in the link below. In conclusion, this project was an absolute roller coaster. At so many points I wanted to give up, but I'm glad I didn't. This silly challenge was fun, and I'm already thinking about making other games in Notion. Maybe Battleship, or even Candy Crush. Until then, have a nice day. Bye bye.